There is a certain kind of woman a man never forgets. She might not be the loudest in the room. She might not be the one posting every moment of her life. She might even pass through his life for a short time and never become official. But her presence changes something in him. He finds himself thinking differently. He feels exposed and seen in a way he can't fully explain. He's both drawn to her and a little unsettled by her. Years later, he might not remember every detail of their conversations, but he remembers the feeling. Something in me woke up around her. That woman is what people like to call high vibration. Not in a mystical, perfect goddess way, but in a grounded, self-respecting, deeply present way. Through a Jungian lens, she is a woman more aligned with her own self, more awake to her inner world, more unwilling to live in constant self-betrayal. And around a woman like that, certain things in a man simply cannot stay asleep. Before we go deeper, pause with me for a moment. If you've ever noticed that men either become more honest, more vulnerable, more intense, or strangely avoidant and intimidated around you, like you bring something out in them they weren't expecting, type the word awake in the comments. Not because you think you're perfect, but because some part of you knows you carry a different frequency than the chaos around you. And if content like this tends to find you exactly when you're questioning your own energy, it truly helps when you like this video and subscribe to the channel so these Jung-inspired reflections stay near you on the days you doubt what you bring into a room. One more thing from my side. These long, depth-filled videos take a lot of time, care, and energy to create. If you ever feel like quietly supporting this work, there's a small Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. It's never expected, but always deeply appreciated. It helps me keep showing up and making more of these for you. Now, let's talk about what high-vibration women actually awaken in men through the lens of Jungian psychology. First, we need to be clear about what high vibration isn't. It's not being endlessly positive and never having bad days. Being a spiritual performer, talking about energy but ignoring your own wounds. Being perfect, always calm, always graceful. From a Jungian perspective, a high-vibration woman is simply a woman who is more integrated. She doesn't pretend she has no shadow. She's met her shadow. She doesn't fake confidence. She's learned to sit with her insecurity instead of letting it run her life. She doesn't chase love at any cost. She values her own soul more than being chosen by the wrong man. She is not above men. She is simply anchored in herself. That anchoring changes the emotional field around her, and a man's psyche responds to that, whether he understands it or not. Here is what that kind of woman tends to awaken in men. 1. She awakens his truth by refusing to collude with his mask. Most men live inside a persona, a Jungian term for the mask they wear in the world. The charming one, the confident one, the funny one, the emotionally detached one, the "I've got it all under control" one. Many women, out of fear of losing him, agree to dance with the mask. They laugh at jokes that feel slightly off. They pretend they're okay with emotional distance. They overlook the ways he goes missing when things get too real. A high-vibration woman doesn't do that. Not because she's trying to teach him a lesson, but because she literally cannot lie to herself that much anymore. She's been through her own dark nights. She's peeled off her own masks. She's paid the price of pretending. So when she sits with a man, she doesn't just react to who he's performing as. She feels the gap between his mask and his deeper self. She might gently ask a question that cuts through his persona. You say you don't care, but your energy says you do. You joke about everything. What are you hiding underneath that? You disappear when things get real. What are you afraid of? Even if she never says these things out loud, her eyes say them. Her presence says them. And he feels it. Around her, he senses that the usual tricks don't land the same. His fake confidence doesn't fully impress her. His emotional games don't fully hook her. She's not cold, she's just not hypnotized. Jung would say, Her alignment with her own self calls forth his. He can feel that he's being invited silently to show up more honestly. Some men respond by softening, opening, sharing more than they usually would. Others respond by pulling away because the mask is all they know. Either way, her presence awakens his awareness of the split inside him. Who I pretend to be versus who I actually am. Once that awareness is ignited, it's very hard for him to go fully back to sleep. 2. She awakens his emotional depth by being emotionally grounded, not chaotic. A lot of men are used to two extremes in feminine energy. Overgiving, self-abandoning caretakers who carry all the emotional labor. Unregulated, explosive chaos that blames him for everything. High-vibration feminine energy is different. She feels deeply, but she doesn't weaponize her emotions or bury them. She's able to say things like, "This hurt me. I feel disconnected from you. I need emotional honesty, not guessing games." Without screaming, without collapsing, without punishing. Her nervous system might still be healing, but she's committed to communicating in a way that honors herself and reality. Jung talked about the importance of integrating feeling as a valid function, not something to suppress or dramatize, but something to listen to. When a man meets a woman who can feel without drowning him in blame, it awakens something very specific in him: permission. Permission to feel his own sadness without being shamed for being weak. Permission to admit fear without losing his masculine edge. Permission to say, "I don't know what I feel yet, but something's off," instead of shutting down. Around a woman who is emotionally grounded, a man's own frozen emotional life starts to thaw. Not because she fixes him, but because her presence makes feeling safe enough to consider. He may find himself telling her things he's never told anyone, about his childhood, his failures, his shame, his fears. He may surprise even himself with his own depth. Jung would say, this is his anima, his inner feminine stirring, the part of him that feels, intuits, longs, dreams. High-vibration women don't just attract that in a man, they help awaken it. Some men will be humbled and grateful. Others will panic because feeling threatens their old identity. But either way, after her, he cannot keep pretending he doesn't feel anything quite as convincingly. 3. She awakens his conscience and integrity because her standards are quietly non-negotiable. One of the clearest signs of a high-vibration woman is that she no longer bargains with her own soul. She may love deeply, she may be patient, she may be understanding of human flaws, but she does not stay where trust is consistently broken, where respect is constantly compromised, or where she has to keep betraying herself to keep the peace. She doesn't scream about her standards, she embodies them. She is kind, but she will walk away. She can forgive, but she will not forget who someone keeps choosing to be. She might give a chance, but she does not live on endless chances. Men feel this. Even men who are used to getting away with half-truths, mixed signals, breadcrumbing, suddenly find that with her, their own conscience gets louder. Jung believed that when we encounter someone more aligned with their self, our own psyche reacts. Around her, a man will often feel an inner tension. He knows when he's lying. He knows when he's half-committing. He knows when he's asking her to accept less than she deserves. And because she won't fully play along, he's forced to look at himself. This woman makes me feel like I need to be better than I've been. That doesn't mean she shames him. It means her presence creates a kind of mirror. He sees, maybe for the first time, how misaligned his behavior is with the man he likes to imagine himself to be. Some men will rise to meet that mirror. They will start keeping their word more. They will speak more truthfully. They will stop playing with her time and energy because they sense it's precious. Others will resent the discomfort and retreat to easier, less demanding dynamics. Either way, her vibration awakens his awareness of his own integrity, or lack of it. She does not make him a better man, but being around her makes it much harder for him to feel good being a worse one. 4. She awakens his desire to protect and provide in a healthy, not controlling way. In Jungian language, the masculine principle is about direction, structure, protection, and purposeful action. In wounded form, it becomes control, dominance, ego, and emotional distance. In healthy form, it becomes presence, responsibility, stewardship, and care. High-vibration feminine energy calls forth the healthy masculine, if it's there to be awakened. A woman who is self-respecting, emotionally aware, and spiritually anchored does not need a man to complete her, but her presence often stirs a man's deep archetypal impulse to show up. He may feel a desire to make her life easier in small ways, follow through on what he says, take accountability when he's wrong, create safety instead of chaos. Not because she begged or nagged, but because something in him recognizes, this is not a woman I want to lose through carelessness. Jung talked about how the anima, the inner feminine image, can pull a man toward his own development. A high-vibration woman can embody a piece of that for him. She becomes, in his psyche, a symbol of what kind of man he could become if he stepped into his own mature masculine. Around her, he feels the difference between the boy who wants attention and validation, the man who wants to be grounded, trustworthy, and real. Her energy doesn't reward boyish games, it responds to grounded presence. So if that potential exists in him, her vibration awakens his urge to grow into it. Not every man will choose that path, but the seed is planted. I want to be a man who could stand next to a woman like that with pride. 5. She awakens his shadow, the parts of him he doesn't want to see. This is one of the most misunderstood aspects of feminine power. High vibration doesn't just mean men feel good around you. It also means men may feel uncomfortable around you because your presence stirs up the very parts of them they've spent years avoiding. Jung called this the shadow, all the traits, wounds, fears, and desires a person refuses to acknowledge in themselves. Around a self-aware woman, a man's shadow can flare. He might feel irritated that he can't manipulate her, intimidated by her self-respect, jealous of the calm she has that he lacks, exposed by her ability to sense when he's out of alignment. He may project that discomfort onto her. You're too much, you're demanding, you're intense, you're difficult. But often, what he's really saying is, you make me feel my own unresolved stuff, and I don't know how to deal with that yet. This is why high-vibration women often experience polarized reactions. Some men feel deeply inspired by them, some feel deeply threatened. In Jungian terms, she is standing in more of her own wholeness, and that wholeness makes it harder for others to hide from their fragmentation. Is it her job to fix that? No, but understand, when men act strangely around you, hot and cold, intense, then distant, it may be less about your worth and more about how much of their own shadow your presence has awakened. Her task is not to chase him into his healing. Her task is to remain true to herself and let his reaction reveal where he actually is in his journey. 6. She awakens his longing for meaning, not just stimulation. Many men are taught to chase experiences, more success, more status, more women, more distractions. But under all of that is often something else, a quiet, aching hunger for meaning. Jung believed modern humans suffer from a loss of soul, a disconnect from deeper purpose and inner life. High-vibration women are often women who have already cracked open, been disillusioned by superficiality, and started searching for something real. Real love, real growth, real connection with the self, with God, with life. When a man encounters a woman who lives from that place, it can awaken his own buried longing for depth. He might find that. Small talk feels emptier than ever after a conversation with her. Empty hookups feel more hollow after feeling real connection. Chasing validation feels juvenile compared to the calm satisfaction of being decent and present. Around her, he feels the difference between stimulation and nourishment. temporary ego strokes versus the deep quiet of being seen and accepted. Even if he doesn't fully rise to meet that yet, his psyche registers it. This is what real feels like. Sometimes men lose this kind of woman because they're not ready to live at that level of honesty and meaning. But even in their absence, she has awakened something. A restlessness with his own superficial life, a question he can't ignore. Is this all I'm going to do with my time here? That question, once awakened, can follow him for years, and in a strange way, she becomes a quiet catalyst for his eventual awakening, even if he never tells her. 7. She awakens in him the knowing that different is possible. Many men only know two kinds of feminine energy. The over-accommodating woman who makes herself smaller to keep him. The chaotic woman who uses emotion as a weapon. A high-vibration woman breaks this paradigm. She is soft and boundaried, compassionate and self-respecting, loving and willing to walk away. She doesn't hate men. She doesn't worship them either. She sees them as human, capable of greatness and harm, and she treats herself as human too. Being around a woman like this can scramble a man's internal map. His old rules don't work. If I pull away, she'll chase. But she has a life and doesn't chase confusion. If I test her, she'll try to prove herself. But she doesn't perform for unstable energy. If I breadcrumb, she'll stay because she doesn't think she deserves more. But she quietly leaves because she knows she does. This can frustrate him at first. His ego might feel bruised. But deeper down, something else is happening. Evidence is being planted in his psyche that relationships can be more conscious, women can be more sovereign, and he can be more honest. He now knows in his body that a different kind of woman, and therefore a different kind of life, exists, and that knowing is powerful. Because even if he runs back to old patterns for a while, his soul has tasted something higher. And one day, when he's tired enough of repeating the same cycles, he will remember the feeling of being around that kind of energy. And it may be the quiet standard he uses to finally grow up. If you've listened this far, I want to turn the lens back to you. You, the woman who has felt men become strangely honest around you or strangely defensive. You, the woman who has been told you're unforgettable, but also you're intimidating. You, the woman who sometimes wonders, do I push men away or do I just bring out parts of them they aren't ready to face? Through a Jungian lens, the truth is often this: you awaken things in men, not because you're perfect, but because you are committed to not abandoning your own soul anymore. That commitment creates a field. Masks feel heavier around you, lies feel more obvious, half-commitments feel more insulting, games feel more childish. Some men will misunderstand this as judgment. It's not. It's simply the energy of a woman who has walked through her own darkness and decided she will not live below her truth. You wake up a man's truth, his feelings, his shadow, his conscience, his desire to protect what is sacred, his hunger for meaning, his awareness that another way of loving is possible. You do not exist to be his therapist, his rehab center, or his spiritual teacher. You exist to walk your own path, to honor your own self, to stay loyal to your own peace. Men who are ready will feel your presence as a blessing, even if it challenges them. Men who aren't will feel it as a threat. Neither reaction is your identity. Your work is to keep tending your own vibration, your boundaries, your healing, your emotional regulation, your honesty with yourself, your connection with God, with the self, with your deeper wisdom. From that place, you don't chase a man into his awakening. You simply show up as who you are and let his response reveal where he truly is. If, as you've been listening, some part of you has whispered, "This is me. I'm not perfect, but I know I bring something different, and I'm done shrinking it to make it easier for people," then type "awake" in the comments if you haven't already. Not as a performance, but as a private promise to yourself. I will not dim my frequency to keep things familiar. If this video has helped you in any way, it truly supports this work when you like it, subscribe and tap the notification bell so you don't miss future reflections that speak to the deepest parts of you. And if you ever feel like quietly supporting what goes into creating these long, carefully crafted teachings, there's that small Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. It's never an obligation, but every little bit genuinely helps me keep pouring time, heart, and depth into videos made for women like you, the ones who are awake enough to change the field around them. Wherever you are as you hear this, in your room, in your car, in your kitchen, on a late-night scroll, remember, you are not too much for awakening things in men. You are simply living at a level where sleep is no longer an option. The right man for you will not just be awakened by that, he will be grateful for it, and he will meet you there.